Good morning, students. I hope you have read these topics that were discussed in the class. Please listen to the audios that were sent to me on agriculture chapter, and from that chapter also, if you have a doubt, we can discuss during the live classes. Please go through those videos and come back with your doubts if you have any. Today I am taking up the next topic of the chapter, that is industrial pollution and environmental degradation. Students, industries are no doubt a source of income and employment to the people. They help in the economic development of a country, but at the same time they also cause environmental pollution. They cause air pollution, water pollution, land pollution, and noise pollution. We'll take up all these types of pollutions one by one. And the first one, starting with the air pollution. Now, the causes of air pollution are no doubt those gases, undesirable gases like sulfur monoxide, carbon monoxide. But along with that, there may be dust particles, sprays, mist, and smoke which also cause the air pollution. The smoke which is emitted by all the factories, brick kilns or refineries and smelting plants and burning of the fossil fuels is major source of air pollution. Toxic gas leaks can be hazardous with long-term effects. All of you must be knowing about the Bhopal gas tragedy. The impacts are still visible in that area. Then water pollution, because solid and liquid waste coming out of the factories is generally thrown into the nearby water bodies. Examples are here: paper, pulp, chemicals or textile and dyeing materials, petroleum refineries, tanneries and electroplastic industries. They all are sources of water pollution because their waste is disposed of into the water bodies, rivers nearby. Then we have one more new type of pollution. Maybe you have not studied about it in the previous classes. That is thermal pollution of water. Students, the hot materials, maybe hot water that comes from the factories, if it is dropped into the rivers without cooling, it will lead to the thermal pollution. And definitely it harms the marine life in that area. The waste from nuclear power plants and nuclear weapon factories, it may be a cause of cancer and birth defects and miscarriages. Children, these are common things seen in these areas where these industries are located, that people fall a prey to many deadly diseases because of the presence of these industries. Polluted water that percolates into the soil, that means the pollution, if suppose solid waste is disposed of on the land or liquid waste is disposed of on the land, that water with rainwater seeps down and goes into the underground water table. It first of all degrades the soil, makes it infertile, and secondly also pollutes the underground water. Then next is noise pollution. Now noise pollution may result into many problems like irritation, anger, hearing impairment, increased heart rates or the blood pressure problems. Children, it is a study carried out which says that if you are living in a very noisy area, within 25 years, 40% of your hearing ability will be lost. Then industrial and construction activities, machinery, factory equipments, generators, saws and electric drills, they make lot of noise and that causes noise pollution. You must have seen around yourselves also. In our area also, when the construction activity is taking place, it causes lot of noise and always causes irritation among the people living in that area. Now, the main part of the chapter is how to check environmental degradation, how to control that environmental pollution. Now, there are different methods undertaken by the government to reduce the pollution of fresh water. The first is minimize the use of water for processing. That means fresh water should not be wasted in processing. We can reuse the water or recycle and reuse the water which is already in use and reduce the use of fresh water. Then secondly, rainwater harvesting can be done. Rainwater harvesting we have done in the water chapter, drainage chapter, and there we have water resources chapter, drainage chapter in class 9 and water resources in class 10. So rainwater harvesting is utilizing the rainwater coming on the surface for different purposes. Then the hot water or effluents which are coming out of the industries must be treated, means some cleaning can be done before releasing them into the rivers or the nearby ponds. There are 3 phases of this treatment of industrial waste that we have to understand. The primary treatment, that can be by mechanical means. That means it involves the screening, the grinding or flocculation, and sedimentation, means the bigger impurities can be further reduced into smaller particles. The secondary treatment can be done by biological processes, means the biological methods can be used for treating the waste. The tertiary treatment can be done by biological, chemical and physical processes, means all these 3 processes are together involved, and generally it involves the recycling of the wastewater, because the water can be recycled and then reused and it reduces the use of fresh water. Now what are the measures undertaken to reduce the pollution? First, air pollution. To reduce the air pollution, first of all, the smokestacks can be fitted into the factories with electrostatic precipitators, fabric filters or scrubbers, and the inertial separators. Basically they all help in reducing the air pollution by absorbing those harmful gases going into the atmosphere. Smoke can be reduced by using the oil or gas instead of the fossil fuels like coal, especially coal, because it causes lot of smoke and also leads to lot of dust production. So that can be reduced by using the substitutes. Then generators must be fitted in with silencers to reduce the noise pollution. Machinery can be redesigned to increase the energy efficiency and to reduce the noise. Students, the old machines, simple take example of a machine used in the domestic life, the mixers and grinders. Initially the mixer and grinder which was in use, they were always very noisy. When they were in use, nothing could be heard other than their noise. But nowadays we have those machines, refined machines, which do not cause that much noise. So such improvement in the technology can help us to reduce the noise pollution. Noise absorbing materials can also be used apart from the personal use of earplugs and the earphones. Means instead of listening to the music at a very high sound, you must use the earplugs and earphones, so it helps in reducing the noise pollution in the area. Now, not only these provisions, these methods have been adopted by the government, but along with that, some laws have been passed and implemented. They are called constitutional provisions. Students, this question came in the board exams once. Like, what are the constitutional provisions to check pollution? Means what are the laws which are framed and implemented to check the pollution of different types. So you will have to give the facts. You have to give the names of those acts which have been implemented by the government from time to time. Like you have the Prevention and Control of Pollution Act 1974, specially to check water pollution. Second is the Prevention and Control of Pollution Act 1981 for checking the air pollution. The Environment Protection Act 1986 and the Public Liability Insurance Act 1991. These are some of the main laws which have been framed to check the pollution from the environment. Now, a special mention is there in your textbook about NTPC, National Thermal Power Corporation, which is a major power providing corporation in India. And you have to understand that it has ISO certification for EMS, that is Environment Management system. That means it is a standardized agency for environment management. Okay, the corporation has proactive approach. Now here you have to understand that generally in India we have a post-active approach, that something goes wrong and then we start thinking how to check, how to stop. But the corporation has adopted a proactive approach. That means they are working on preserving the natural environment as well as the resources by making the best possible use of those resources, by making best use of best technology for using those resources, and reducing the use of those resources, looking for substitutes for those resources, and at the same time utilizing the waste produced by the agencies. What are these methods adopted by NTPC? One by one we'll take up. First is optimum utilization of equipments, adopting latest techniques and upgrading the existing equipments. That means the modern technology needs to be used for utilization of those resources so that the wastage can be stopped or at least reduced, and the best possible use can be done by reducing the pollution at the same time. Then minimum waste generation by maximizing the ash utilization. Here the word ash is used for the waste produced by the industry. One example, best example of this ash utilization is the thermal power plants which are using the coal for generating electricity. The ashes which are produced by those plants, they are used for making of bricks. So that way that reduces the pollution and utilizes the waste produced by the industry. Then providing green belts, which is the most important method for nurturing the ecological balance, because the plants will absorb the pollutants from the air. At the same time they will refine the air. So that is the best method which is adopted by NTPC. Then ash pond management, ash water recycling system, and liquid waste management. Basically all types of waste produced by the plants, they need to be refined, and the waste produced need to be reused as far as possible, or at least recycled and reused. Then ecological monitoring, which is very important. Children, if we do not know what is the level of pollution, we will never think of preventive measures. So regular monitoring of the areas is very much required so that we understand, we know the level of pollution, and we also know at the same time the pace, the rate of increase in the pollution, which helps us to take some preventive measures in those areas. So reviews and online database management. Online database management simply means that the information regarding the level of pollution or what is happening in that area must be maintained online, so that anybody can see and anybody can suggest, or if anyone needs to use that data for improvement of that area or for maybe planning for the management, waste management, then this data should be available online. Then the next topic that we have to take up is global warming. But I'll take up this topic in the next video, because this video will be too long and you will not be able to download it. So I'll take up global warming topic in the next video. Thank you very much, and please listen carefully and write down the topics in your classwork notebook. Thank you.